Tonight, Atlanta police are investigating after a mother was killed this week near Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta. Now, this is the victim. She's Courtney Reese. Tonight, her family is devastated, and as her family is already dealing with another loss. Her sister, also a victim of gun violence, just months ago.
This story has another layer. An Atlanta police officer is recovering in the hospital after he was shot while helping to serve a warrant for a murder suspect. This is a warrant on the person who was accused of killing Courtney Reese. According to APD, a joint fugitive task force had zeroed in on Derek Rankins, the person they believe was responsible for the murder of Courtney. She was shot and killed last Tuesday near Cleveland Avenue. Officials say when they got to that home in Stockbridge to serve the murder warrants, he started shooting at them. An officer was hit in the arm. Rankins died during that shootout. Police have not said if he took his own life or if he was killed.
Please, don't. Those were the last words 32-year-old Courtney Reese could get out before a man dressed head to toe in white raised a gun and fired. Not once, not twice, at least 10 times. Even after this mother of 4 collapsed onto the porch of a home on Springside Drive in Atlanta, the shots kept coming. This wasn't a robbery. It wasn't a random act of violence. This was personal. And for Courtney's family, watching that 27-second security clip would become a nightmare on loop. But here's the question that haunts this case. Was Courtney Reese killed not just by a bullet, but by a secret? Before we go any further, if you're new here, you're watching True Crime Unraveled. We dig deep into the stories behind the headlines. And to our incredible community on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, we see you. We read every single comment, and we are so grateful for your support. You make this channel what it is, so please keep them coming. The story of Courtney Reese is a story of 2 tragedies separated by just 90 days. In May of 2024, Courtney's younger sister, Symmetria Edwards McCord, was shot and killed in Decatur. The family was shattered. Courtney, the vibrant, loving mother who was everybody's hype man, was now grappling with an unimaginable loss. She made a decision then to protect her children, to build a stable life, to leave anything chaotic behind. That decision included ending her relationship with a man named Derek Rankins. What happened next would see a domestic argument escalate into a cold-blooded execution, trigger a massive manhunt led by U.S. Marshals, and end in a fiery standoff that left a police officer shot. But at the heart of it all is a simple, devastating truth. A family that had just begun to grieve one daughter would soon be burying another. How does a family survive that? And what was the hidden truth that turned a breakup into a death sentence? To understand the weight of this loss, you have to understand who Courtney Reese was. She was 32. She was a mother of 4. 3 girls, ages 13, 9, and 6, and an 11-year-old son. Her sister Lena said Courtney was a vibe. She was the life of the party. She was everybody's hype man, everybody's cook. She loved to make party food. Her smile was infectious, the kind that lifted everyone around her. She lived for her kids. Everything was about providing for them, protecting them, giving them a joyful life. But in May 2024, joy was stolen from this family. Courtney's sister, 29-year-old Symmetria Edwards McCord, was shot and killed at a gathering in DeKalb County. It was a senseless act of violence. The family was reeling. For Courtney, the loss was a turning point. Those close to her say it hardened her resolve. She wanted safety. She wanted peace. She wanted no part of anything that threatened the fragile stability she was building for her children. This included her relationship with 33-year-old Derek Rankins. Rankins had a history and had recently been released from jail. While the exact nature of their relationship wasn't detailed in official reports, family members were clear. They believed he was the man in the white hoodie on the Ring camera, and they believed Courtney had ended things with him. But in the days leading up to August 20th, rumors began to circulate among those close to Courtney. Whispers about a secret she had discovered about Rankins. Allegations, shared fiercely online by grieving family members, that Courtney had learned something about his private life that he was desperate to keep hidden. The police would later call her death a domestic violence-motivated homicide. But her family wondered, was the motive even darker? Was it about shame? Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, was an ordinary summer night on Springside Drive. Just before 9 p.m., the ordinary ended. Atlanta police responded to a shooting call. They found Courtney Reese outside, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Despite desperate efforts to save her, she died there on the ground. But what happened was captured. A neighbor's Ring camera recorded 27 seconds of horror. The video shows a tall figure in a white hooded sweatshirt walking up to Courtney, who is standing outside a home. You hear her voice pleading, "Please, I don't." Then, the muzzle flashes. The person fired at least 10 shots, continuing to fire even after Courtney fell to the ground. Then, the figure ran away. Inside the house, just feet from where their mother lay dying, were Courtney's 4 children. They didn't see it, but they heard it. The pleading, the gunshots, the silence. Imagine being a child, trapped inside, hearing the world end on your own porch. The next day, warrants were issued for Derek Rankins. Atlanta Police Chief Darren Schierbaum said officers knew he was very dangerous. But Rankins was already gone. He had vanished, launching a week-long manhunt. For a full week, the Southeastern Fugitive Task Force, a team of U.S. Marshals and officers from agencies like the Atlanta Police Department, searched for Rankins. They tracked him to a house on Linden Lane in Stockbridge, Henry County. On Tuesday, August 27th, 1 week after Courtney's murder, the task force moved in to arrest him. What they walked into was an ambush.
To get back to breaking news we've been following involving an Atlanta police officer shot today.
So we heard from Molly Oak. Now we want to head out to 11 Alive's Joe Ripley, who is live at Grady Hospital. Joe, any update on this officer's condition?
Well, as you mentioned, this Atlanta police officer was shot while helping to execute a search warrant in Stockbridge. That's Henry County. Right now, though, he remains in Grady Hospital behind me recovering. We're told by Atlanta's police chief, Darren Schierbaum, that officer is expected to be okay. He is expected to recover. Henry County Sheriff's Office helicopter actually flew this 18-year APD veteran and investigator right here to Grady. This is all tied to a search warrant in Henry County. A regional task force led by U.S. Marshals executed this search warrant this morning in Stockbridge for Derek Rankins. He is accused of shooting and killing Courtney Reese 1 week ago near Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta. Reese was a mother of 4. She was just 32 years old, shot at least 10 times, according to police. She had lost a sister just months ago. Police say they identified Rankins as a suspect, and tonight, Chief Schierbaum says Rankins is dead after an hours-long standoff.
This is what we train for. We recruit men and women who have a quality to stand in the gap for their communities. We train weekly and regularly to make sure when an individual who poses harm to community doesn't want to go back to jail, that we can do so with the least risk to the citizens in the area.
Schierbaum says tonight no other officers were injured while this search warrant was being executed in Stockbridge, though it's still unclear tonight if Rankins shot himself or if police shot and killed him. That remains under investigation by the GBI. We're live outside Grady Hospital in Atlanta. Joe Ripley, 11 Alive News.
At that location, Mr. Rankins opened fire on members of the Fugitive Task Force, Chief Schierbaum said. During that exchange of gunfire, an 18-year veteran of the Atlanta Police Department's fugitive unit was shot. A Henry County Sheriff's helicopter airlifted the wounded officer to Grady Memorial Hospital. Thankfully, his injuries were to the arm and were not life-threatening. Rankins, however, barricaded himself inside. A tense standoff ensued. Hours later, it was over. Derek Rankins was found dead inside the home. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation was called in to determine exactly how he died, whether by his own hand or in the shootout. There would be no arrest, no trial, no courtroom confession. For the Reese and Edwards families, the pursuit of justice ended not with a verdict, but with a report from the GBI. In the wake of the violence, a family already broken had to find a way to breathe. Courtney's father, James Dupree, issued a statement that was heavy with exhaustion and grim acceptance. Honestly, this was the best outcome, because this guy was a danger to others while on the run. I wish death upon no one, but he deserves exactly what he got, he said. It wasn't celebration. It was relief. Relief that the violence stopped with him. Meanwhile, the community and Courtney's loved ones gathered to remember her not with silence, but with the joy she embodied. They held a vigil with purple balloons, her favorite color, and music. They laughed and cried, sharing stories about the woman who was the life of the party. But the most heartbreaking moment came from the next generation. Courtney's 13-year-old daughter stood before her family and her younger siblings. A child forced into an adult's role, she made a promise. "Don't worry. We got you for life." In an instant, childhood was over, replaced by a protective love learned from her mother. Courtney's older sister Lena spoke about the void that will never be filled. "She didn't deserve this. Her kids will miss her. We're all going to miss Coco," she said. Her life was cut short, but the children still are here. They still have to be provided for. We want them to have everything that we knew she was going to do for them. So, what is the truth of the Courtney Reese case? Officially, it is a closed domestic violence homicide. A woman was killed by a former partner who then died in a confrontation with police. But her family and the whispers surrounding her death point to a more complex, more painful trigger: the deadly cost of a secret. Whether the specific rumors are true may never be officially proven, but the pattern is frighteningly common. At its core, this is a story about control, shame, and the ultimate act of silencing someone who knows a truth you can't bear to have exposed. Courtney Reese was a vibrant light, a devoted mother, and a sister drowning in fresh grief. She wanted safety. She sought stability. And for that, she paid with her life. Her 4 children now face the world without their hype man, their cook, their protector. A father has now buried 2 daughters in 3 months. The unanswered question lingers. How many warning signs do we need to see before we can stop this from happening to someone else? This story forces us to confront difficult questions. What do you think was the real motive behind Courtney's murder? In cases of domestic violence, how can friends, family, and the community better recognize the signs of escalating danger? And what responsibility do we have with the secrets we learn about others? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We at True Crime Unraveled read every single one. If this deep dive into Courtney's story moved you, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find these important stories. To follow our investigations into the world's most baffling and tragic cases, make sure to subscribe to True Crime Unraveled on YouTube and follow True Crime Unraveled TV on Facebook and TikTok. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next video. Stay safe, and remember the story of Courtney Reese.
Developing tonight, trying to hold on to the happy moments while working through their grief after a mother of 4 was shot and killed on Tuesday night.
Now the community is rallying around the family of 32-year-old Courtney Reese. 11 Alive's Angelina Salcido joining us live tonight from Atlanta Police Headquarters. And Angelina, you spoke with many of those who knew and loved Courtney.
And this is the very first time that we are hearing from them. Her younger sister tells me that she was vibrant and she always kept a smile on her face. Courtney shot and killed in Atlanta just months after one of her sisters was shot and killed in DeKalb. Tonight, this family tells me neither one of them deserved to die this way.
She was a vibe, the life of the party.
Her infectious smile is keeping her grieving family's spirit high.
She was everybody's hype man. She was everybody's cook.
Courtney Reese remembered tonight with purple balloons, music, and love.
It's a party. It's a celebration like she would have had any other day.
Lena is Courtney's older sister.
She didn't deserve this. Her kids will miss her, her sisters, her brother, her dad, her mom.
The 32-year-old shot 10 times at this home along Springside Drive, south of Cleveland Avenue, Tuesday night. Flowers are now in the place she took her last breath. In a video too graphic to play, Courtney pleads with someone before shots are fired. That person ran away. No arrests have been made.
Her life was cut short, but the children still are here. They still got to be provided for.
Courtney leaves behind 3 girls, just 13, 9, and 6 years old, and an 11-year-old son.
She was a great mother, and we want them to have everything that we knew that she was going to do for them.
Their life is her legacy.
Courtney was joy. She was love. She was a protector. She was, a provider.
Now, Atlanta police still investigating this case. They really want anybody from the community that has valuable information, saw or heard anything, to submit tips to them. Meanwhile, this family is working to provide for Courtney's kids. They're also trying to plan her funeral. We have a link to how you can help them in this story on our website. We're live tonight in Atlanta. Angelina Salcido, 11 Alive News.
Also developing tonight, a violent end to the search for a gunman who killed an Atlanta mother. And today, an Atlanta police officer was shot while serving a warrant for that murder suspect in Henry County.
That's right. So what we do know is that the officer is expected to survive. That suspect is dead. And through it all, Courtney Reese's family, they are mourning her loss. Reese was just 32 years old. She had 3 daughters and an 11-year-old son. 1 week ago, she was shot and killed on Springside Drive, that's south of Cleveland Avenue. And the investigation into her murder, it led the Southeastern Fugitive Task Force to a home in Stockbridge today. Atlanta police say when they arrived, the suspect here, Derek Rankins, started shooting. An officer was hit in the arm. Rankins died during this standoff. But police have not yet said if he took his own life or if he was killed. And today, Courtney's father is speaking out, saying that while he doesn't wish harm on anyone, he's glad that Rankins won't be a danger to anyone else. We do know that a homegoing service for Courtney is set for this Thursday in Decatur.
Chief Shearbaum.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out so we could update the citizens of Atlanta on what transpired today and the condition of their police officer. I am joined by our Chief Operating Officer of the City of Atlanta, LaShondra Burks, as well as the U.S. Marshal for the Northern District of Georgia, U.S. Marshal Brown, our Sheriff, Patrick Labat is here, as well as Lieutenant Bonaparte from the Georgia State Patrol. Back on August the 20th, the city experienced the loss of one of the citizens in a domestic violence-motivated homicide. We lost on that day Courtney Reese. The very next day, the Atlanta Police Department issued arrest warrants for a Derek Rankins, who we knew to be very dangerous and posing a threat to this community. This morning, the Southeastern Fugitive Task Force, led by the U.S. Marshals, which is comprised of members of the Atlanta Police Department, as well as the Georgia State Patrol, went to a location in Stockbridge, Georgia, where we believe Mr. Rankins to be held up. At that location, Mr. Rankins opened fire on members of the Fugitive Task Force. During that exchange of gunfire, a member of this department, an 18-year veteran assigned to our fugitive unit, was injured. And thankfully, those injuries are not life-threatening. And I want to thank God for having the hand of protection of our officers today and the phenomenal staff of Grady Hospital for their work in providing medical care, which they continue to do behind us. Fortunately, no other members of law enforcement were injured. At this point, the suspect who we were seeking to take into custody is deceased, and the Georgia State Patrol, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation will be conducting an investigation into this officer-involved shooting. I do want to take time to thank the Sheriff of Henry County, Sheriff Scandrich, who used the helicopter of that department to transport our investigator from the scene of the shooting here to Grady Hospital so medical care could be rendered. And so at this point, our one investigator we believe will make a full recovery. I want to commend him for his bravery today. I want to commend every member of the Atlanta Police Department that reports to duty to keep this city safe. And just thank our partners who you see gathered around us, who has arrived to show support and has been key in this operation today as we sought to take this individual into custody. And U.S. Marshal Brown, I'm going to turn it over to him to give comments at this time.
Thank you, Chief. The U.S. Marshal Service is comprised of a number of officers. In addition, as certified U.S. Marshal deputies, but police officers and sheriff deputies from throughout the metropolitan Atlanta area. Atlanta Police Department is a huge contributor to that task force, and we thank them for that. We could not do our job without their assistance as well as the other law enforcement assistance. U.S. Marshals serve some 2,000 warrants a year that normally result in about 200 arrests of individuals for murder per year. This was one of those individuals that we wanted to get off of the street. We were able to do that successfully. We are so glad, and we are continuing to pray for the Atlanta officer that was wounded in this, but we could not do the job that we do had it not been for the dedicated men and women of law enforcement throughout the metropolitan Atlanta area, and it just points to how sensitive and how dangerous this line of work is. So, Chief Shumbo, we can't do it without you. Thank you for being a part of our task force in the state of Atlanta, and turn it back over.
Thank you, Marshal Brown. We appreciate you, Sheriff Labat, the Georgia State Patrol for the partnerships that we all do keeping our city safe. Open for any questions that you all may have now this time.
We've seen so many instances of law enforcement being involved in these either search warrant cases or whatnot to put their lives actually on the line, as in this case. Has this impacted how you all handle procedures and protocols now with seemingly a bolder take when it comes to confronting law enforcement?
You know, this is a dangerous job, and I'm so thankful men and women every day say yes to this profession to protect this city, this county, and communities across the region. We have seen 2 members of law enforcement in the past week and a half lose their life, and our prayers continue to go out to Paulding County and to Carroll County. This is what we train for. We recruit men and women who have a quality to stand in the gap for their communities. We train weekly and regularly to make sure when an individual who poses harm to the community doesn't want to go back to jail, that we can do so with the least risk to the citizens in the area, that individual, or law enforcement. This is what we train for. But I'm very thankful for men and women, particularly at the Atlanta Police Department, that serve the city, and very thankful that our investigator is going to make a full recovery.
So your protocols and procedures have not changed due to this recent uptick in law enforcement involved shootings?
Our training is always in the state of evolution for perfection and for betterment, and so it does not take one incident. We learn from all incidents, and we're always in the state of improving.
Was the suspect shot from a self-inflicted wound that was unlawful?
You know, the investigation will determine that. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation will assume the next phase to determine how this individual's lost his life, and that will be one of the areas we will investigate. Was it self-inflicted?
What do you say to these perpetrators who feel like, you know, they're one against the world, that, you know, they don't really treat you guys with the respect even when you show up in numbers like this?
You know, our job is to teach everyone with respect and to make sure justice is done. And for individuals that may think they're going to continue to break the law and place communities at risk, you see a strong coalition of law enforcement that stands behind me and that is present throughout our region. Men and women of integrity who wear the uniform of law enforcement. We're going to take someone into custody, whoever they may be, whoever dangerous they may be, for the sake of our communities.